down in the den, so go tell a friend. The best podcast on earth's about to begin. We got jokes and news and movie reviews. After Dark NC-17 with the crew. Interviews with the best artists around. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Welcome to Down in the Den. It's your boy MARZ, and we are back again with another stellar episode. And today with me, I have a very multifaceted, very talented artist. And the tradition here in the Den Mates, I like to go ahead and give a warm welcome to vocalist, multi-genre vocalist, I should say, songwriter, Jules Marie. Jules, welcome to the Den. How are you doing today?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for taking some time out so we can do this interview. I've been checking out your music, so I'm very excited to have you here today.
Awesome. I'm excited to be here. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, one tradition here at the Den. Everyone knows I'm a huge comic book nerd. That's how I learned how to read, reading Batman comics at 5 years old. And every hero has an origin story. Some tragic. Some get their parents shot in the alley. Never good. Some get bit by a radioactive spider. Also not too good. What's your origin story? How did Jules Marie get involved in music? How did you become who you are today?
Mine's closer to the Spider-Man story, actually. I feel like I got bit by the music gene pretty early in my life. I was one of those, I was always singing pretty much my whole life, and the dream was always there. But it wasn't until a couple years ago that I really thought that I had the potential in me to be my musical superhero self. So I love that that's the way you approach that. Because yeah, my story is pretty much I've always loved music. I was in choirs all throughout high school and all of my whole life. And then I took a break from music. I kind of quit, and then it found me again. I was writing and I was collaborating with different other artist friends of mine. And so this past year, I've been releasing music consistently and really taking it seriously as my career choice, because this is what I want to do. And if I don't do it, I don't want to look back one day later and be like, what if? So here I am.
We always talk about purpose here and learning your purpose. And it doesn't matter if you discover it at 5 or if you discover it at 55. As long as you discover that purpose, you're on the right track. So that's a very, very awesome story. Now, not only are you a solo artist, but you also front a band, Exit 31. How different is it for you stepping out there and being alone? Because we have interviewed people that have been in bands or things of that nature, and they always say it's a little nervous not having that bassist to the left or that guitarist to the right or that drummer behind you. How's it different for you? Is it better? Is it worse? Or is it about the same or just different?
It's definitely different. It's definitely, I remember the first time that I stepped out on my own and did my own show, and did my own original music. And the first time that I did that, it's definitely, it's nerve wracking and it's very vulnerable. It's a very, you don't know what they're going to react to. You know that people love the Stones and cover songs like that, but when you do your own music, you're not really sure how it's going to be received. So that's definitely nerve wracking, but it's super empowering, honestly. Like, regardless of where you are or who you're performing for, just having that audience there and them hearing everything that you worked so hard for and getting to kind of feel their energy and give it at the same time, it's awesome. It's been really great.
That's super dope. Now, you wear many hats. You're an artist with multiple skill sets, and that's the type of artist we like to speak with. What advice would you give to the little boy or little girl at home that's thinking about doing this and discovering their bite for the music bug? We always talk about the music industry and the music business can be a scary, scary place. What type of advice would you give to anyone out there that may be listening that's thinking about taking that path and going into the music industry?
My biggest thing, honestly, my advice is that there's no one right way to do it, and that everybody's journey is going to be tailored to them. Obviously, there are a few key things that you need. I mean, you obviously need the music. You need to be promoting yourself and marketing yourself. You need to have shows to get yourself out there. But other than that, other than those like basic things, everybody's going to have their own path and you're going to grow at different paces. And my biggest thing is don't ever compare your story and your journey and your origin, to anybody else's, because it's yours. And what makes you great, is that you have that story and that, it's gonna be hard. It's very hard. It's not easy. And, there's different kinds of challenges and things that you'll overcome along the way, but that makes the journey so much cooler, that you can say that, me from a year ago to now, how many things I've done and how much I've grown, and that you can watch that progress for yourself. Don't watch other people's journeys. Good for them if you want to be there to root them on and cheer on their progress, great. But if you're going to start to compare, definitely give yourself more credit because everybody's journey is different. Yeah.
Those are very wise words. And I always tell people when we began this journey, this is something that I've wanted to do since I was probably 5 years old. I remember the first Christmas that I could really remember. My mother and father purchased me a boombox. And this was the late 80s when Arsenio Hall was very popular.
Okay.
And I started doing my own talk show at like 6 years old. And then many years later, we're doing it here. So I always tell people with the technology, you can do it right now. You don't need anyone, really, just ingenuity, effort, elbow grease, and the product. And your product is definitely hot. You have great talent. So we commend you for that.
Thank you.
Now, I always like to ask this particular question to artists to kind of see what format it, because there's always influences that even if we don't realize it up front, it kind of seeps into our DNA. So, who is your musical Mount Rushmore? If the government came to you and they said the aliens are coming, they're blowing up the world. We need to know who are the top four artists. That's for some reason all the aliens want, and you're in charge. They said, Jules, you're in charge. Who is your musical Mount Rushmore? And this is the aliens are coming. So we need the good answer. We don't want to get the planet eradicated.
Oh man. All right. Uncle Frank has to be up there. Frank Sinatra is on Mount Rushmore. My
Old Blue
musical
Eyes. Love
Uncle
them.
Frank. I love him. He had so much, like, especially in my childhood, the influence there is like insane. I would get different since I'm multi-genre. We gotta like pick from different. Is it? I'm guessing since I just named someone who has passed, I'm guessing it's dead or alive.
Dead or alive.
So,
Absolutely.
all right. Aretha Franklin. She needs to be up there. There's a quote from her that says, "Keep searching for your voice and you'll find it." And that has taken me through everything because I remember when I was super insecure about my voice, and being able to find your own voice is so important. So, Aretha's on there.
Two for two.
Um,
Right now, you're perfect. I think halfway, I think the world's okay. The aliens are not going to blow us. So I think we're okay here.
Just save us from the aliens. We have to sing to them. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. Let's go with someone living. Alicia Keys.
Okay.
Alicia Keys. Yeah, because she's awesome, and a lot of her songs have helped me through things. And then Nora Jones. Nora Jones. I just love her
Great.
voice, and I love all of her songs. Her messages are great. So yeah.
Great list. Great list. And I love how Nora Jones has a rock side that no one knows about. With her,
I
that's
love that
very,
you know that. I love that you know that. That's
oh, I'm a
awesome.
music snob. I like my origin story. You don't want to know because we don't have that much time. But yeah, I'm a music snob. I always tell people I have probably the most open heart for every person. But when it comes to music, only the best. Only the best.
I
Absolutely.
should
So
be really honored that you like my
yes,
stuff because
yes,
all right.
yes.
All
And I have a second wave. I always go through my dad who put me onto music. When he was in Vietnam, he used to send records back to my mom. And we had this room growing up with all of these records on the wall, and he would quiz me on bless you. And he would
right.
he would quiz me on, okay, what is this? And I'm like, average white band, 1977. So it's stuck in my head. So yes, I'm a music snob and I love your music. And speaking of loving your music, your single and video for Bulletproof was really awesome. Went into the makings of that song and that visual, and who did you work with on that project?
So I wrote that song a little over a year ago, and it was actually written. over the process of a year. So I have the original skeleton for it. It was a beat done by one of my friends. His name's Jerry, but he goes by Pimp Fried Rice. He's a producer, rapper, pretty much you name it. He's actually learning how to play guitar more for me so we can do shows, and he's been awesome in my music journey. But it started with that skeleton, and I wrote just the chorus and a couple verses, and then I kept coming back to it and adding more things. And the intro that you heard, the song is very, very personal to me. And so the very, very beginning, it says, "I'm trying, Lord knows I'm trying." I cried while I wrote that line. And it really is, that song is so much about me addressing the fact that I don't always wear my heart on my sleeve. I put on the fake smile, or just fake it till you make it. You try and look like you're happy so that maybe you could be. And that I'm realizing that that isn't always the best. And kind of reflecting back on my life and the reasons why I am the way I am and the things I've gone through, and in hopes to help somebody else. And I have actually, that song has gotten people to send me messages who I would have never known. Just like the song says with me, you'd never know, but they've been through things and they felt things that were there in that song. And that video, I cannot thank Mike enough. So Mike Chisholm is a really good friend of mine. And I've gotten so many compliments on that video. He really did. He took my whole vision and just made it happen as much as we could. We wanted to go up, down, left, and right of the inside of Center City. And I don't know if you've ever been inside of City Hall in Philly, but there is a place you can stand where you can look all the way south, all the way north, all the way east and west of each street. So it's Market Street, Market Street, Broad Street, Broad Street. And it's absolutely awesome, especially at night. But because of COVID, we couldn't get into the middle. So we filmed on the street and just went down each street. And he put the whole thing together. Him and his buddy Chase second shot for him. They own a studio. It's called Day to Day Studios, and it's in South Philly. They're so talented. So yeah, that was a project that's very close to me. I'm still impressed with the amount of people who it's really touched. Because obviously when you're writing something, that's the goal a lot of times, but then to actually have it really affect somebody. I just performed at a festival this past weekend, and I met this woman. Her name's Amber, and when I got off stage, I went to go get changed, and I went to my car, and she was standing there and she was crying. And to see that affect somebody else the same way that it affected me when I wrote it, it's honestly life changing, and it makes the whole thing worth it. So.
Music is the universal language, and you're right. It's one of the best medicines that we know of. So shout out to Chase, shout out to Mike, shout out to Pimp Fried Rice for helping collaborate and I can't believe I remembered that. I'm actually impressed with myself. Like my memory is horrible, but shout out to all of those guys in that team. Philly is one of my all-time favorite cities of all time. I spent some time there in the early 2000s and love Philadelphia. So shout out to the whole team. Now, I always ask this question: if we were to accidentally grab your phone and we went to our musical app and we went and we're like, wait, this isn't our phone. This is Jules' phone. What are you listening to right now on your playlist? Give me 2 or 3 songs that you're listening to right now.
Oh man, I've actually been on a throwback kick, so you'll see some 2000s like hip hop in there. And then I actually just found, a friend of mine is a DJ, and he showed me there is a Donna Summers Kygo remix. And my Nana listened to Donna Summers my whole life. So hearing that, I was like, oh my gosh, it's disco and EDM in one, and I'm in love. But I'm the type of person where if you take my phone, if you hit that shuffle button, you're gonna go through all the genres very fast. Like we're gonna go country, then we're gonna go to musicals, then we're gonna go to some hard rap, then we're gonna go to pop, and then rock and metal and pretty much anything. It's on there.
And that is one of the reasons I always ask that particular question, because I find real music heads, they don't fall into the trap of a genre. They just like good music, and so I'm the same. People always laugh. We have this is our recording studio, but we have a den where sometimes we do performances. Hence, down in the den, and on my wall we have records, actual records that I love, and my 2 favorite is Johnny Cash, Folsom Prison, and then NWA Straight Outta Compton. So it's always hilarious how people see and they're like, how did you go from here to there? I'm like, don't worry. Good
Because
music.
we like it. We
Good
like it.
music is just good music. Absolutely. So, what is on the horizon? I understand you have a new single coming out very shortly. Tell us a bit about that and what went into making that project.
So this one is a slower song. So this one started as a very acoustic song. A friend of mine played guitar, and we wrote it. And it took me a while to write this one because it was just like Bulletproof, where it's pretty personal to me. And I take you through the story of not only me not needing anybody in my life to be happy, but also knowing that I've already had everything I need. You've already everything I need is in my soul is one of the lines. The song's called "Make It Up to Me," and I'm really excited. I don't have a video for it yet. I don't have anything else other than the song, and then I just did the album cover. But October 4th. 14 is my lucky number, so if you notice, you're getting a little secret here. If you notice in most of my release dates, it'll either be on the 14th or in some way be related to the number 14. So 10 plus 4 is 14. It's also
That's
10
super
4, like
dope.
10.
10-4. That's super dope, super dope. A lot of artists are really into numerology and specific numbers. And I mean, you start seeing the connections. They'll drive you bonkers when you start looking at numbers. And one of my
It's
favorite
there's
movies,
no
Jim Carrey,
coincidences.
23, and it was something like that. So that's super dope. We can't wait till that. So October 14th,
October 4th,
October
10 4.
4th, 10-4. Okay, 10-4, October 4th. I want everybody to go ahead and download, stream, however you consume your music, consume that because I assure you, Jules is extremely talented. So,
Thank
speaking of talent, I've seen some clips online with you performing, and you're a hell of a performer. So, I want to give you kudos to that. So, we already know you're awesome. Tell us about one of your worst performances because I feel those bad experiences teach us sometimes more than our great experience. So tell us what of your just horrendous performances, or maybe you haven't. You're that dope, so you may not have any. But have you ever had any bad performances that you wish you could have just kind of erased from the whole history?
Yeah, it's not like the worst. It wasn't like a horrible story, but I will say it was one where I was like, okay, thank God, like we got through it. It's over. We're done. So I, in the last couple months, I book all of my own shows. I'm self-managed, so I overbooked myself for this month and last month, and so it was actually recent. I performed at a place that I always perform at. I was one of the first places I ever performed, and that they paid me to perform. And so I went there. It was a normal Sunday show in the daytime. It's at a winery. And I just was so tired from the day before. I felt like every song I was like trying to get through it, like I was like climbing through it, and that's not fun. That's not, the audience feels that when you have that happen. And actually, that was the first time I've ever gotten a bad review. And I've tried to reach out to this guy a couple of times, but he said, I've been coming here for years. And he was a little harsh. He said it was the worst he'd ever seen. He said, I took too long of breaks and I didn't connect with my audience. He said, but he did compliment me. He said she's a great voice and she has a wide range of vocal styles, but worst I've ever. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I reached out to him, and hopefully, one day he'll come to a show where I'm giving my full energy. But it did make me realize that, if you're not giving something, you're not gaining anything by overbooking yourself and trying to do everything, because then you're not putting 100% towards each thing. And if you get burnt out, what's the point, you know? So yeah,
Absolutely. My mom has a saying. She always said, "You can't pour from an empty cup." So I think it's very important that people take time to recharge, focus, and I love that women are taking a charge on putting focus on mental health because it's long overdue. So that's an awesome story and an awesome lesson, which I'm sure
props
you
to your
learned
mom,
from
because that's it, 100% it. Mom's got it right.
absolutely.
Yep.
So now that I've traumatized you with the worst spirits, let's have some fun. Let's bring that energy right back up. So
Feedback.
it's time for some this or that or plead the fifth. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So, for those at home who have not seen this or on your phone or however you're viewing this or that, we give two extremely hard choices that I believe Jules has the bravery to make. But if it's just too outrageous, you can always plead the fifth and we'll move on. But I have confidence in you. So are you ready?
Ready, let's
All right.
go.
So the first one, these are two of my top 10 favorite artists of all time.
Oh man, no pressure.
No pressure. Dolly Parton or Loretta Lynn.
Oh
I hate to do
man.
this to you because they are awesome with the name of the game.
Uh, honestly, I gotta go with Dolly. I gotta go with Dolly because just everything else that she does outside of music, I just really love her as a person. And I feel like she's the music mom to so many other artists. Yeah, we'll say Dolly. Plus, I want
Great.
her house. I want to
Yeah,
live in her house.
I just want to go to Dollywood and borrow a wig, maybe. You know, just walk around in it one time. So she's
Just
awesome.
see, yeah.
All
Yeah, I
right.
like her.
So question two: this or that, or plead the fifth? John Lennon or Paul McCartney?
Oh, come on.
Sorry,
Oh man.
you can always
Oh,
plead the fifth. You don't have to. You don't have to testify.
I might need to plead on this one. I
That's
might need
fair.
to.
That's fair. It's designed that way. So now the final this or that question: performing or creating? Because they're different energies. Which do you prefer? Creating some music and just getting it together and having that birth of that music, or going out and performing it?
I would plead the fifth, but I feel like they're very equal. But I actually think the performing outweighs it a little bit, only because of the fact that when you're creating, you're not getting necessarily that instant energy shift that happens when you're performing, and you can't tell right away how much it's going to affect somebody. It's something that you figure out afterwards, after maybe it's been released or after somebody else hears it. There has to be like a second person involved. So for that reason, performing.
I agree wholeheartedly. I do stand up from time to time, and that immediate energy, that feedback, it gives you goosebumps. All right,
Yeah, literally.
it's excellent. So we're almost done here, but we always have a tradition. We play a little song association. Probably my favorite game of all time. It's great for party games. So the rules are simple. There's 3 rounds, 3 words. I give you a word, and all you have to do is provide us either with a song with the word in the title or the lyric. It can be even one of your own songs if you so choose, as long as it's something that has the word in the title or the lyric. Now, the only bad thing is three. It's only three. So if you get one wrong, that's a 66%. We don't want failure. We want nothing but excellence. So you have 10 seconds per round. I'm going to give you the first word. Are you ready?
Ready.
And I'll just give an example. If the word, for example, was star, twinkle, twinkle, little star, you could give me a bar of that, and that would be sufficient. So,
You.
if you're ready, do you need any water? Do you need anything at all? We're good? All right. So, word one, time, Time. I need a song in 10 seconds with that word in the lyric or title.
The first song that comes to my head is "I Just Need Time." I don't know who it's by, but it's a new song, and it's the name of it is "Time." I think it's like a TikTok song or something like
I've
that. I'm
heard.
so
I was about to say. I feel like I've heard it swiping on something. That works.
very
That works.
repetitive, but it got
That
stuck.
that
They did
works.
their job.
So that's 1 point. All right. Word number two. Sweet. SWEET.
Mm. Sweet dreams are made of these.
Killing it. Yes. Yes. All right. All right. All right. Sweet Home Alabama would have also been accepted.
Oh no, that's a sellout. We don't do that.
And now word three, and I kind of just ruined it for myself, and I'm not prepared to change it on the fly. But word three is home. HOME.
Home, let me go home. Home is wherever I'm with you. That was
Perfect.
easy. You gave me easy words. You went easy on me. I like that though.
No. Yeah, we had some where people were struggling, and the word was like aluminum, and they were like, "Dude, what even rhymes with aluminum? How would you make a song?" I was like, "It's a random word generator," so we took that away. So awesome. That's 100%, and that is the criteria you need to get your DENmate stamp, which means you're official. You're in the family, gang, then mate for life. So it's been a blast, Jules. I have been having a great time. You're awesome. You're talented. You're great. And I hope everyone checks you out. You've earned the floor. Tell the world where they can find you. What do you have going on? What shows they can catch you at? The floor is yours.
I'm happy to be a new D.E.N member. I'm excited. So I have a bunch of shows. Check out my Instagram or my Facebook. It's at Jules Marie Music on everything. Jules Marie is spelled like Julia, but ES. So Jules Marie Music. And I have a new song coming out October 4th, 10/4. I have shows. I have a show tomorrow. I have a show Friday. I have a show 2 on Saturday. So if you're local to the Philadelphia area at all, or if you're in New York or New Jersey or pretty much anywhere in the tri-state area, check out my, Instagram, and I post updates all the time.
Excellent. We'll put all of that here on the screen, on the page, everywhere you want to go. So that'll be there. Jules, it's been a blast. Thank you so much for carving out some of your time and doing this interview. We certainly appreciate it. We're going to keep your eye. I see nothing but huge things in the future for you, and I can't wait to see you at the Grammys one day soon.
Now wrap it up. That's right. Here we go.
Absolutely. So as always, this has been another episode of Down in the Den. It's your boy MARZ. That's Jules. Wrong way. That's Jules. And thank you guys so much for listening. As always, you can get this anywhere the podcast is heard, anywhere you stream your podcast, and of course on the YouTube channel MARZ Entertainment. Please check out Jules' music. We'll put that on the screen so you guys can check her out. She's dope. And as always, deuces. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now.